You can see the
air.
the air, the gases, the structure, the cell structure is so high. It looks like, you know, spider webs. It's contemporary pizza. Vincenzo, this is what I'm talking about. This is why Lemadi creates miracles. Look at that. Structure, bounce back, light. It's so light. When you eat this, you're gonna feel like you're not gonna want to eat any other type of pizza again.
Can't wait to try it.
I can't wait for you to try it. Let's go. Okay guys, today we're going to be making a pizza contemporanea, which is a contemporary pizza, something that is actually not out there too much, and there's some ingredients that I'm going to be using here that are quite different to what you've seen before. Really interesting, and it's another thing that I've become really passionate about. So to do the contemporary pizza, it's really simple in the sense that we can use the Neapolitan pizza recipe. So we're going to be using today 1 kilo of flour, 30 grams of salt, around about 1 gram of yeast, and 600 mils of water. So the hydration of this is around 60%. But what we're going to also add into this product, it is like a stabilizer, although it is like also a mother dough in a packet. This amazing Lemadi is crazy. You've never seen a pizza dough work so well by adding just a few teaspoons of this. You know, I'm going to be adding around 4 grams into the dough. Now, what this product does, it stabilizes, especially for people that are in countries that have got fluctuation of climate. This is a product that you want to try and search online to try and find, because it's a godsend. So what happens is, if you've got a climate where it's a lot of fluctuation, hot, cold, you put a little bit of this into the pizza dough, and what happens is it binds all the dough together, and it protects the gluten, so you don't get an over fermented dough over time. There's been studies on this product. It's been amazing, where, you know, we were doing some trials and we left the dough out by mistake. We've come back the next day and it's stabilized really well. So this is something that, if you can, go online, research it, just have a look. It really is something interesting, and I'm interested to show you how the pizza is going to come out. Okay, so with this pizza dough, we're going to start with the water and salt. So this is still the traditional Neapolitan way. So I'm going to get the salt dissolved in the water first. All right, at this stage, we're going to add around 10% of the flour. So again, guys, remember, we want to try and create that crepe sort of mix. Always mixing on low speed for these types of dough. Nice. So you can start seeing how it's starting to look like a sort of a crepe or pancake mix. A bit of that slosh. So why we're doing this is we're separating the yeast and the salt, and that's really important. So we'll allow this to mix for about another minute, and then we can add our yeast. Okay, at this stage we can add the yeast into the mixer, and we can also add the Lemadi into the mixer as well. So nothing changes, it's all the same as what we would normally do. We're just adding one extra component. Vincenzo, can you smell already how it's like you're using a mother dough?
I can tell.
This is what it's all about. It's like you're using a mother dough. Already
so I'm making a sourdough pizza.
Yes.
Without the starter.
Correct. And without going through the heartache of creating a mother dough and trying to keep it there for a long time. You know, this is something that is, again, you know, talking about how we've evolved, how technology has evolved. And that's what I love about it. That's why I love learning new things, because guess what? Not everyone knows everything.
That's right.
I just want the flour to absorb all the liquid. So that's why I don't put everything at once.
You need to be very patient to do this.
Yeah, you know, no, the Italians, the Neapolitans, when it comes to making pizza dough, are very, very patient because they know that it's part of their heart. See, I allow still the flour to fall into the mixer like raindrops. Now remember guys, the best way is to sieve your flour. The aroma is unbelievable. And I only put very little. Okay, so the dough is ready. We're at 23. I'm happy with that, and I'm happy to put this aside now to rest.
So from 23 to 26.
Yeah, so we're going to be anywhere between 23 and 26 degrees. So we're pretty much there. Just leaving the dough now to rest, so we cover it so we don't have any moisture, and we come back to it in 2 hours so that we can start making our dough balls. Okay, so I've left the dough to rise for at least 2 hours. Now we can come back to it and we can start making some dough balls. Now, I always talk about weighing the dough balls, and it's really important, just depending on if you're using an oven at home. I will do anywhere between 180 and maybe 220. If you're using a wood fire oven, you can go from, again, 180 all the way up to about 250. So just really simple, a couple of different techniques. So weigh it first. Yep, that's about 240. There we go, 250. Now, one technique is the old baker's technique. So what we do is these three fingers fold the dough underneath while the thumb and this finger guide through the cavity. So I'm pushing under, and with my palm I'm pushing the dough back into the cavity of the thumb and the finger, and you can see the dough is becoming nice and smooth, and there we have one dough ball. Another technique is something I've been using since I was a child, is these three fingers fold the dough into these other three fingers whilst turning anti-clockwise so that I rotate the dough ball, and I fold this under. Then once I have a nice smooth surface, what I do is I place my hands together like I have an ice cream cone or a cone in my hands, and I rub together, and there we go, we have another dough ball. And the last technique that I want to show everybody, just in case all those three techniques seem a little bit difficult at the beginning, and I can assure you if you practice you'll become really good at it. Another technique that you can use is you place the dough ball in front of you, and the part closest to your body, you pick that up and you fold over all the way, and then you pick the dough piece up and the folded part faces the ceiling, and you have it in a long directional way like a little bread loaf, and then you fold over again, and you repeat this at least 4 to 5 times. So you just keep on folding over like that, and on the last fold we keep the fold on the bottom of the bench, and with my thumb and my fingers I press down on either end, I pick up, I tuck under, turn it upside down, crimp the bottom, and we have ourselves another pizza dough. Now, either technique is fine. There's no right or wrong way. There is something that you should be sort of mindful of, is that when you are making a dough ball, and a lot of people make this mistake, and the bottom stays like that, or there might be a cavity in the bottom, just like this. What we want to do is just close that, so keep it nice and tight, and then that way when you go and stretch your pizza, you've got a nice even stretch, and you have a nice even thickness across the center. We don't want to have too much of a thin center, because if you're using a wood fire oven at home with a pill, you may flick it off the pill, and you may damage the center or break the center, meaning that you've just wasted one pizza. So okay, so once you've finished rolling your dough out into dough balls, we want to place them into a tightly sealed container, again leaving some space between each dough ball. That way it makes it easier tomorrow when we use these to make our pizzas. We can get them out. Now you notice I do not put any flour, I don't put any oil, I don't do any of that. Just straight onto the container, because we want to keep this dough as natural as possible without any other interferences from other products. We place the lid over the top, and I will go now and store this in a room that's anywhere between 14 and 16 degrees. If you don't have a room that is controlled, you can use refrigeration. The only step that you need to take is you need to wait until these dough balls nearly double in size, and then you can place them in the fridge. Okay guys, here we are. We're ready to cook the contemporary pizza. We've had these resting now for at least 18 hours now. I've had them in a controlled environment, so I'm gonna be ready to cook. But for those of you at home that have used refrigeration, don't forget, when you do take them out of your fridge, please let them rest in an ambient temperature, anywhere between 4 to 5 hours before you start cooking, and that will give you the best result. Happy cooking.
Johnny, looking at these beautiful pizza dough balls, they look like they are excited. Like, is this lemadi like the Viagra of pizza?
Bravo, this is a good way to put it. Yeah? This is actually the right description. It gives more of a push, it stabilizes the dough, you just wait until we cook this.
These pizzas are like, yeah, come on, I want to go in.
Yes.
In the oven.
Yeah. Okay, so when we're stretching our pizza, we always start an inch in from the bottom to an inch from the top. That way we retain all the gases, especially for this contemporary pizza. We want to get a really nice cornicione, or a crust. So I've just lightly put my my dough ball in a little bit of semolina, very fine semolina, and what I do is I just press down, and you can see all the air is being transferred into the crust. Now we continue to do this until I get a size enough where I can then start stretching my pizza dough with my hands, as in the slapping motion. Okay, at this stage, one hand here, just after the crust or the cornicione, and the other hand, 3 fingers on the bottom. These 2 fingers touch each other, and these 2 fingers in between the dough, and we stretch, come over to a forearm hold and back down. You can see I started here and I've ended up here. Then we go back to the original position again, right? Palm down, we go palm up, it's stretch, over, back down. And we do it again, just keep repeating that. Now, when you get better at it with some muscle memory, this is the actual technique. Okay, so we've opened up the pizza, and from here we're going to start topping. So we put the tomato in the center, and just clockwise, just put in tomato. Like to put some basil. You can put the basil now or after the cheese, it's entirely up to you. And put the mozzarella, extra virgin olive oil. Okay, when we're placing into the oven, again, we're always working with our 3 fingers on the bottom of the dough, right? And we can stretch, open, and then we pull it onto the peel and just stretch into shape, and we can go into the oven. When we go into the oven, we want to do a quick flick and straight out. And really important is, let's cook the pizza in the same spot for the duration of the pizza. Obviously turning, but we try and take it out of the oven when we turn. This is really important. It's so that we don't pick up any unnecessary ash that the oven may have released through the fire. But I'll demonstrate that as we take it out of the oven. Now, if you're cooking at home and you're cooking in a domestic oven, just have your oven on as hot as possible, stone in the oven. You can still do the same technique by pulling the pizza onto the stone. Just use a wooden chopping board, not a plastic one, please. If you do have chopping boards, use a wooden one. If not, you can have a little peel. You can find them from your local stores, and just pull it onto the stone. And what you'll do is still use the same technique as a wood fire oven. Every every let's say 45 seconds. Just turn the pizza, because you'll find that your oven will cook differently in different spots. So there's just a little bit of a tip just to get a really nice even cook. I'm going to take this pizza out. It's not fully cooked because I'm going to give it a turn, but as I bring it out, you're going to see what the difference is between contemporary pizza and pizza napoletana. Have a look at that cornicione. That's what I'm talking about. It's just nicely puffed. Now, I'll finish cooking this off. Wow.
Stunning.
Look at that.
Stunning.
Okay, so have a look at this crust. It's risen, it's popping. Pizza looks amazing. Now with this type of pizza, we want to cut it with a scissors. So let's get into it, and I just want to see what this looks like. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Wow, Johnny.
Look at this.
Wow, Johnny. Yeah.
Look at this. That's what we're talking about. Look how the pizza, look, I could just actually have a look at this. I could just fold this right now and eat this. Look at the bottom. Look how it's cooked perfect. Didn't take long.
Johnny, this is, how do you call this? A beautiful modern Neapolitan pizza with a Viagra?
Yeah.
How do you call it?
Probably contemporary.
Contemporary,
Yeah.
that's the perfect name.
Yeah.
Can you describe in this? So what can we...
Look, as you can see the difference, you got a beautiful cornicione, or the crust.
Yes.
You can see it's very high. You know, we cut this with a scissors so that we don't ruin the structure. And it's a pizza that's so light to eat.
So this cornicione, you got this cornicione
Yeah.
thanks to the
Lemadi.
lemadi.
Yep.
With the normal Neapolitan pizza recipe, you can't get this result.
Not as much as this, but yeah, this is like you could. It's not just about the crust, but it's also about the flavor.
The
Flavor of it is.
That's what we need to see.
Yep.
So how do you cut this pizza, Johnny? Why do you use the scissors?
So we cut inside the cornicione,
Just like that.
just like that, from here,
So
and
the
we
scissors
could-
doesn't ruin.
it doesn't ruin the structure,
Right.
and that's the important part.
Now, what do we want to see here? What do we want to see in this cornicione?
Well, what we want to see is this beautiness here.
Oh, wow. So this like
You can see the
hair.
the air, the gases, the structure, the cell structure is so high. It looks like, you know, spider webs. It's
Is
so
it
when
still crispy and
it's crispy.
you like to bounce back?
Yeah, the bounce back's there. You know, it's just amazing. This here, when you eat it, it's melting in
Look
your
at
mouth. Melt in your mouth.
Look at that. Johnny, incredible you've done today. You brought a contemporary Neapolitan pizza here to Melbourne.
Yep.
How proud are you?
Very happy.
This is the best part of the video recipe, Johnny. I finally get to eat the contemporary, the Neapolitan pizza contemporanea.
Let's go.
Oh,
Wow.
so moist. Where do these flavors come from? These unique flavors, where are they from?
This is all about making a perfect dough and using lemadi to just give you that extra kick.
So the lemadi are giving me these flavors I'm eating now.
Yes. You see that? It's lingering.
This
What a
is the
pizza.
future. This is the present and the future.
Yeah.
Johnny, thank you so much for introducing me to this wonderful, wonderful experience, recipe. Thank you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Write a comment for Johnny. Come and see Johnny in Melbourne. He's a nice guy, happy to talk to everyone,
Thank you.
yeah?
Yes, always.
And he makes you a nice pizza. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next Vincenzo's Play video recipe. E ora si mangia. Johnny's Pizza, the contemporary Neapolitan pizza. What is it called in Italian?
Pizza contemporanea.
Ciao.
Ciao.